Elon Musk shocked as black homeless woman enters his home wearing millionaire's necklace. Jack Morgan stared out at the glowing skyline of San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge shimmering like a giant ribbon of light in the distance. His penthouse was dripping with luxury, glass wars, the finest whiskey neat in his hand, and silence thick enough to drown in. Yet, inside, a cold emptiness gnawed at him. Success, wealth, influence, they all felt meaningless tonight. And then it happened. A sudden creak, a soft shuffle by the door. Jack froze. He wasn't expecting company. Not tonight. Before he could react, the door swung open slowly, revealing a figure in the dim light. A black woman, ragged clothes, eyes burning with something fierce and strange. She stepped inside, uninvited, like she belonged there more than he did. His breath caught as his eyes locked on a shining necklace around her neck. A necklace he hadn't seen in years. The one he thought forever lost in a reckless. It wasn't just the necklace. It was the memory, sharp and searing. The knot in his stomach tightened. "Where did you get that?" Jack's voice came out rough, trembling with shock. The air between them crackled. The woman moved closer, her voice low and steady. "This was given to me long ago. It carries stories, pain, survival, and truth you've tried to forget," she said. Her words hit hard, like stones thrown into a still pond. The penthouse suddenly felt smaller, the shadows heavier. She started telling her story. Hunger, cold nights on streets Jack never dared to visit, battles with a world bent to ignore her. As she spoke, Jack felt something break inside, a numbness melting into a sharp ache. All the skyscrapers, all the meetings, all the deals, none of it ever touched this kind of raw reality. The weight of his choices pressed down like iron bars. Then came the twist. The black necklace wasn't just a piece of jewelry. It held secrets, documents, codes, something tied to his fortune and to a ruthless corporation ready to tear it all apart. They wanted power, control, and they weren't afraid to burn bridges, even his. Jack's heart pounded. He was caught between two worlds now. The one he built on success and the one the woman represented. Pain, truth, and maybe hope. Could he protect everything he'd won? Or did he owe something bigger to those she fought for? Torn in two, Jack blinked back memories. Faces from his past, allies turned enemies, and choices that felt darker than the night outside. The woman paused, her gaze locking with his. This necklace. It's not just about money. It's about change. Can you be more than what you once were? Jack swallowed hard, trembling hands gripping the glass. A chill raced down his spine. Could he dare to believe in that? Or was he forever tied to greed, fear, and the empire he'd built? Suddenly, his phone vibrated, a message lighting up the screen. "They're coming for everything! Decide quickly." Jack's mind raced. The woman's challenge hung in the air like smoke. Fight to keep his empire intact, or step into the unknown and change everything. The clock was ticking. Would he chase down an old rival who once called himself a friend? Or would he listen to her and finally face what he'd been running from? The answer might save him or destroy him. But one thing was clear. This was no longer just about wealth. It was about who Jack Morgan wanted to be. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers, have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Jack's heart raced, a wild drumbeat echoing in the spacious penthouse. The woman's words hung heavy in the air, a challenge that felt almost tangible. He could hear the faint buzz of the city below, the cool night air pressing against the glass walls. But his mind was tangled in the weight of her truths. The necklace shimmered in the dim light like a beacon, pulling at threads of his past he thought he'd severed. Just then, another sound pierced through the thick atmosphere. A loud crash from the entrance. The door shattered inward, splinters flying like confetti in a storm, and two figures rushed in, clad in dark clothing, faces masked. Jack's instinct screamed as they stormed into his sanctuary, the emotion in the room shifting violently from reflective silence to sheer chaos. "Get down!" one of the intruders shouted, his voice a harsh bark. Jack jumped, instinctively pushing the woman behind him, his body instinctively shielding her, even amidst the unfolding disaster. "Jack Morgan," the masked man yelled, spitting the name like a curse. "You've got something that belongs to us." The woman's eyes widened, fear flickery. Who were these people? What did they want? In the haze of adrenaline, the memory of the necklace flashed in his mind, its deeper meaning, the power it held, the documents it concealed. In one swift motion, one of the intruders ripped the necklace from her neck, as if it were a lifeline chained to secrets. Jack lunged forward, rage igniting inside him. But he was too late. The man held the necklace aloft, victory curling into a smirk hidden beneath the mask. "Thought you could play Scrooge and watch your empire crumble without responsibility." Then the man's words cut deeper. "You think you can forget who you are, Jack? This ain't just a necklace. It's your damn legacy. A legacy you can't outrun." Jack felt the ground shift beneath him. Everything he thought he'd buried was rising, flooding back, his deals, his betrayals, the very foundation of his success built on the backs of people he'd turned away from. The woman, standing silently by his side, was no longer just a passerby in his life. She was a reminder of everything he wanted to forget. He glanced at her. Her expression was a mix of disbelief and resilience. This couldn't be happening. The world he had built was crashing down around him. The masked intruder took a step closer, the necklace still dangling from his grip. "This is your call, Jack. Choose your side. The world out there isn't waiting for you. You either stand with your kind, or you embrace the consequences of your choices." The moment hung, taut and electric. Jack's mind raced, his pulse thrumming in his ears. He had built a fortress, but now it felt like prison bars closing in. Betrayal and trust tangled before him, the stakes higher than ever. But then he heard it, a soft click, a mechanical sound echoing through the penthouse. The woman, standing resolutely beside him, reached into her ragged coat, revealing something he never expected. A small, sleek device glinting dangerously under the overhead light. They don't know everything, Jack, and neither do you. As sheer realization washed over him, he felt his heart stop for a brief moment. She wasn't just a victim in this. She was intertwined in a plot much larger than he could have imagined. The shock of the truth wrapped around him like icy chains. What had he truly uncovered? And what lay ahead as the clock ticked relentlessly forward? Jack knew one thing. In this swirling storm of secrets and choices, nothing was as it seemed. Jack's heart raced as he read the message on his phone, reality tightening around him like a steel band. The woman's gaze didn't waver. It burned with intensity that challenged him, dared him to confront his fears. He could feel the walls closing in. His beautiful penthouse now felt like a cage. "What do you mean they're coming?" he whispered, his voice barely escaping his throat. The woman took a step back, her expression shifting, the fierce fire in her eyes replaced with a shadow of uncertainty. "Jack, you don't understand," she said, almost pleading. "There are powerful forces at work here. You're being used." That knot in his stomach twisted tighter. By who? A loud crash interrupted them, jarring the moment. A window shattered behind him, showering him with glass. Jack turned, half expecting to see a robbery in progress. Instead, a hooded figure dashed through the broken pane. The intruder moved like a shadow, quick and fluid, charging right toward him. Before he could react, the figure knocked Jack aside, sending him sprawling against the bar. The woman cried out, but her voice drowned in a chaos of shouts. "Get down!" Jack pushed himself up, heart pounding. The intruder fumbled with what looked like a gadget, aiming it at the woman. A flash erupted. An intense, blinding white light enveloped the room. Jack shielded his eyes. When the light faded, the intruder stood still, panting hard. Jack blinked, and as his vision cleared, he saw the woman collapsing to the floor, the necklace slipping from her neck, clattering to the expensive tiles. Panic surged through him. He leaped forward. "What did you do?" But the intruder turned toward him, voice low and masked. "It's too late, Jack. The truth is here." The woman gripped her head, groaning, her face contorted in pain. Jack rushed to her side. "Stay with me, please." Through the chaos, the intruder spoke again. "You think this is a game? That necklace is a key to everything you've built." "What does that mean?" Jack shouted, desperate. "Open your eyes! Your fortune isn't yours. It's built on the suffering of others." The hooded figure stepped closer, menace dripping from every word. "You've been blind, Jack. You think you're the master of your fate, but you're just a pawn. And so is she." Suddenly the woman looked up. Her expression changed, focused, intense. "You need to listen. My past. It ties to your empire. The truth of that necklace is more than you know." Jack's heart dropped. "What are you saying?" "Your company is built on exploitation, Jack. And they're coming to reclaim what's theirs." Before he could process this, the lights flickered, the room dimmed, shadows bending like figures creeping closer. "This is just the beginning, Morgan. Choose your side." The intruder stepped back into the flickering dimness, leaving a chilling uncertainty in the air. Jack froze, torn between fear and a spiraling truth. The woman was struggling to rise, clutching her head, whispering the words that sent waves of dread through him. "Jack, we need to stop them." He looked at her, the weight of her past pressing on his shoulders. "What do you want me to do?" The only answer was silence. The air thick with disbelief, confusion, and the raw sting of revelations. Jack felt the ground shifting beneath him, the walls of his life collapsing like a house of cards on the brink of being swept away. This was only the start. The choice that lay before him was monumental, and time was slipping away. The sense of urgency, the need to act, pulsed in his chest like a second heartbeat. The answers were slipping through his fingers, but would he be brave enough to reach for them? And just outside, dark figures lurked, ready to pounce. The clock was ticking louder than ever. Jack's heart raced, a wild drumbeat echoing in the spacious penthouse. The woman struggled to rise, her expression switching between pain and fierce determination. The words of the intruder hung in the air, a chilling echo of his choices. Outside, the shadows stirred as dark figures lurked. The tension crackled. "What do you want me to do?" Jack pleaded, desperate for clarity. "Trust me," she whispered. "We need to fight back. But first, you have to understand, there's more at stake here." Suddenly, the lights flickered again, plunging them into an eerie dimness. Jack's pulse quickened. "What do you mean?" Before she could answer, a flicker of movement caught his eye. A figure slipped through the shadows, leaner, quicker. Jack squinted, heart pounding. In an instant, another shape exploded into the room. "Get down!" A new voice boomed, cutting through the chaos. Jack turned, adrenaline surging. A flash of energy surged as a third person charged through the doorway. A flash of blue metal in hand, and a deafening bang broke through the air. A flash grenade erupted, filling the room with blinding light and thick smoke. Jack shielded his eyes, hearing shouts and confusion swirl around him. "Jack!" "Fuck!" the woman screamed. He could barely see her through the haze. When the smoke finally began to settle, he caught a glimpse of her struggles. In that chaos, something pulled at him, an instinct, a need to act. But the smoke cleared abruptly, revealing one shocking twist. The masked intruder from moments ago was now laying on the ground, lifeless, a look of surprise forever frozen on his face. Jack gasped, breath catching in his throat. What just happened? He turned back to the woman, but a chilling sight made him freeze. Where she had been standing was an empty space. Then he spotted her. She was now face to face with another figure, someone familiar. In the shadows, he recognized the face, the kind smile and confident demeanor he once knew. "Emily?" Jack blinked in disbelief, feeling a wave of shock wash over him. "What are you doing here?" The woman from earlier had been Emily, his childhood friend, a person long thought lost to a different life. "Jack, we don't have time for this," Emily warned, urgency in her voice. "They'll be back. You have no idea what's at stake." "What do you mean? All this time, I thought you were gone," Jack stammered, confusion crashing over him like a wave. "Gone? Jack, I've been fighting." Jack felt the ground shift under him. He had thought he was alone in his world, alone in his battles, and now here she was, a ghost from his past. thrusting him into a reality he didn't want to see. "You can't keep running," Emily urged, stepping closer, urgency flashing in her eyes. "You don't know what's coming for you, or what it'll cost you if you don't choose." The weight of her words hung thick in the air. So many questions flooded Jack's mind about loyalty, choice, and sacrifice. He looked from Emily to the body on the floor, the necklace still shimmering against the cold tile. "Jack!" Emily pressed, grabbing his shoulders. "You're part of something bigger, but you need to trust me." He could hardly breathe. Was this truly happening? His heart raced, each beat thunderous, drowning out everything else. The revelation twisted his insides, the realization hitting him like a punch to the gut. Who was he really? The clock was ticking, but now his focus shifted, not just to the chaos outside, but to the stranger standing so close. The world felt like it had fallen apart, and yet somehow it had come back together in a way he could never have expected. Can you protect what's left of your empire, or will you give it up to fight this battle? Jack opened his mouth to respond, but the words caught in his throat. The tension was palpable, the stakes higher than ever. In this moment, everything hinged on the choices before him. But which way to go? His mind raced and his heart pounded as the answers danced just out of reach. Jack felt the weight of the moment, the crackling tension between past and present. He peered into the woman's eyes, searching for clarity. But all he found were layers of pain and strength, like deep waters hiding fierce currents. Her voice sliced through his. "You can still change, Jack. This isn't just a choice. It's your reckoning." He opened his mouth to respond, but the vibration of his phone cut through. The screen flashed ominously. "They're coming for everything. Decide quickly." Heart racing, Jack glanced at the woman. "Who are they?" She took a step back, eyes widening in a mix of fear and acknowledgement, as if his question had unspooled a thread years in the making. "You know them. They've been watching you." "Watching? What are you talking about?" Fear crawled up his throat, raw and real, building like thick smoke. Suddenly, the sound of shattering glass jolted him. The front window exploded inward, sending shards cascading like glittering daggers into the room. Jack instinctively shielded himself. The cacophony of chaos echoed through the penthouse, followed quickly by voices, men, angry and invading. "Get down," he shouted, feeling adrenaline pump through his veins. The woman ducked instinctively. He rushed to grab her arm, pulling her toward the nearby wall, away from the mayhem. "You," he started, but the chaos drowned his words. "Jack!" a voice bellowed, familiar, yet chilling. His throat tightened as he turned. Emerging from the smoke and debris was a figure he had thought long gone. Simon, his former partner, grinning with a devil's smile, holding a sleek, menacing weapon. "Thought you could bury the past?" Simon sneered. "You thought you'd just walk away?" Bristling anger surged in Jack. "What the hell is this? You're out of your mind, Simon." "Out of my mind? All the riches you've accumulated, they belong to us, Jack. I gave you those opportunities. You owe me." The last word hung in the air like a noose. Jack's heart raced with realization. This is about the company. The deals we had? "More than that," Simon hissed. You think you can just forget? This world doesn't forget, and neither do I. The woman stared at Simon, her expression shifting from fear to fierce determination. You don't get to dictate anything. This isn't just about money. It's about lives. A crackling tension filled the space, a battle ready to ignite. Simon's eyes flickered to the woman, unimpressed. Who is she to you, Jack? A distraction? Or more secrets? Jack felt the world shift beneath him. Everything he thought he was stood on shaky ground. She's not a distraction. She's the truth I've been avoiding. Truth? Simon laughed, but there was no joy in it. Let me show you what truth gets you. With a swift motion, Simon aimed, and the air stilled like it was holding its breath. Jack's gut nodded. Wait! But before he could finish, a loud bang rang out, slicing through the tension, and everything exploded into chaos once more. As smoke filled the space, Jack's world started to unravel. He felt the cold grip of fear, the sting of betrayal illuminating all he had once held close. Had he really been living a lie all this time? The necklace hung heavily around the woman's neck, gleaming despite the darkness closing in. And then, amidst the chaos and the smoke, a realization pierced through. In that moment, he had to choose. Stay tethered to the empire he built with Simon, or leap into the unknown with a woman carrying the weight of truth. Whatever he chose next would reshape everything, including the secrets he wished were buried deep. The clock ticked louder in his ears. What would he do? The air seemed charged, alive with unpredictable tension, leaving a question burning brighter than the flames, illuminating the scene. Who did Jack Morgan truly want to be? Jack's mind raced, caught in a vice of reality. The tension coiled between them, thick as smoke. He felt raw, exposed. She was right. He had spent years building a fortress of success, but now it felt like a prison. Are they really coming for everything? Yes, she replied, unwavering. But it's more than just your empire at stake. It's about the lives they're willing to sacrifice. Suddenly, a loud knock shattered the stillness. Jack jumped, heart pounding. The door rattled on its hinges. The woman turned, eyes darting to the sound. Who's that? She asked, her voice edged with urgency. Just a delivery, Jack stammered, trying to play it cool. But dread pooled in his stomach. The knocking grew frantic, pounding like a war drum. Jack! Open up! A voice shouted from the other side. It was Simon, a former friend turned enemy, the architect behind Jack's rise and now his fiercest opponent. Jack! Simon shouted again, frustration lacing his tone. We need to talk about what you've done. Open the door, now! Panic surged through Jack. He shot a worried look at the woman. Their moment of synchronicity felt shattered. You have to hide, he started, but she shook her head. I won't hide. This is where I stand. Your life could be... Yours is at risk too, she insisted, voice rising. As she spoke, the world tilted. Suddenly, the ground felt less solid beneath him. Jack's thoughts spiraled. He didn't just have an empire, he had secrets buried deep, dark, twisted truths that linked him to those ruthless people outside. The good and the bad were all tangled. With a surge of adrenaline, Jack moved toward the door, but the woman caught his wrist. Jack, listen to me! He paused, eyes locked on hers. What do you know? Before she could answer, the door crashed open. Simon burst in, his expression a mix of rage and triumph. There you are, he exclaimed, taking in the scene. The penthouse, the surprised woman. Jack's wide eyes. But before Jack could respond, chaos erupted. Simon lunged forward, but the woman moved like lightning. She ducked, grabbing a nearby vase, and hurled it at Simon. It shattered against the wall, sending shards flying. "Get out!" she screamed. Jack stood frozen, heart racing, mind screaming. Did he want to protect her, or did he want to protect his empire? Simon regained his footing, eyes glinting. "What's he doing here, Jack?" he demanded, stepping closer. "You're playing with fire." "Stop, both of you!" Jack shouted, voice rising. "You don't understand. This is bigger than—" In that moment, everything shifted. The woman stepped forward. "This necklace holds truths about your company, Jack. Secrets they'd kill to keep under wraps." "What?" Jack muttered, trying to process her words, but Simon cut in. "He's in too deep already. You think you can save him?" Simon laughed, the sound chilling. "You've got no idea who you're dealing with." Jack felt his world shatter. Had he really lost sight of reality? The weight of betrayal hung heavy in the air. Suddenly, everything felt like a setup, a cruel game orchestrated by someone far more powerful than he had ever imagined. A surge of clarity hit him hard. "What do you know, Simon?" Jack challenged, voice trembling. Then came the twist. Simon's facade cracked slightly, the mask slipping. "You really want to know, Jack? Those portrait sharks? They're coming for you, yes. But you're their greatest asset. And what you don't know could mean your life." Tension hung thick. Jack's chest tightened. This was no longer just about him, or the woman, or even his empire. It was about survival. Jack felt like he was standing on the edge of a cliff, teetering. The stakes had escalated beyond his comprehension. Trust was a weapon, and betrayal lurked in every shadow. The next move could destroy everything, or set him free. "Where do we go from here?" he breathed, grappling for clarity, knowing everything had changed, and the clock was still ticking. Jack stared at the woman, words lodged in his throat. The city outside felt miles away, yet the tension between them buzzed with electric urgency. Her eyes, filled with a mix of defiance and sorrow, held him captive. "Jack, you need to understand," she urged, stepping closer. "This isn't just about you or your wealth. The necklace is a key." Before she could finish, a loud crash echoed through the penthouse. Jack whipped around, heart racing. The front door, once secure, hung wide open. A group of men stormed inside, clad in black, faces obscured by shadows and menacing intent. "What the hell?" Jack ground out, body tensing as they fanned out like wolves. He stepped in front of the woman instinctively. "Get behind me!" "Jack, no!" she shrieked, but it was too late. One of the men lunged at him, a fist aimed at his face. Jack dodged, adrenaline surging. He swung his glass, shattering it against the intruder's arm. "Stay away from her!" he shouted, eyes wild. Amid the chaos, another man shouted, "We don't have time for this! The necklace! Give it to us now!" The throb of panic shrilled in Jack's ears. He risked a glance at the woman. Fear pierced her features, but something else flickered, determination. "What is this?" Jack yelled, pushing back against the nearest thug, anger spurring him. "What do you want?" "It's bigger than you know, Morgan," The thug's voice dripped with disdain. "That piece has power, and it's tied to everything you've built. Hand it over, and we might let you walk away." Jack felt everything tightening around him. The room, the world, his very life. The woman's necklace wasn't just a trinket. It was a linchpin for something darker. The truth felt like a weight pressing down, squeezing the air from his lungs. "Why don't you tell him?" She spoke suddenly, voice sharp and steady. "Why don't you tell him who you really are?" Jack turned back, confusion slicking his mind. What are you talking about?" The group stilled, and for a heartbeat, the air vibrated thick with expectation. The woman pulled the necklace from her neck, holding it high. "This isn't just a piece of history, Jack. It's a tracker!" A hush fell, as if the world paused. Jack's mind whirred. "Tracker? How?" The men exchanged glances, uncertainty rippling among them. "What?" One of them sneered, but his bravado faltered. "Your empire, Jack. It's being watched. Every move you make. Someone wants you gone. This necklace is their key to finding you, to breaking everything you've built." Jack's breath hitched. Could it be true? His foundations felt shaky. Secrets buried deep, clawing their way back to the surface. The fear in his gut morphed into something more. A storm of memories. Faces blurred with betrayal. Allies turned ghosts in the rear view. And the woman. She's not just a homeless figure. She's here to help you make a choice. A different thug said slowly, realization dawning across his features. But before Jack could process another word, the lights flickered ominously, plunging the room into darkness. A loud explosion rattled the penthouse, filling the air with acrid smoke. Shouts erupted around him as panic surged. Jack's heart hammered. Was this the end, or just the beginning? Amid the chaos, he sensed the woman beside him, a fleeting glimpse of a smile breaking through the fog of fear. "Jack, you need to decide. Are you going to fight for your truth, or run for your life?" And with that cryptic challenge hanging in the air, everything he thought he knew cracked like glass. Who was the woman really? And what did the necklace truly represent? The answers felt just beyond his reach, pulsing like a heartbeat beneath the chaos. The clock was ticking, and the outcome was anyone's guess. Jack stood in the chaos, heart pounding as the air crackled with tension. The room felt like a cage, the walls closing in. He met the woman's gaze, desperation rising inside him. "We need a plan, but—" The lights flickered again, and in that heartbeat of darkness, something shifted. A voice rang out, sharp like glass, slicing through the confusion. "You thought you could hide from me, Jack?" Jack's pulse raced as he turned, dread pooling like ice in his stomach. It was another figure, stepping into the dim light. His breath caught as he recognized the face. It was Claire, his ex-partner and the one person he had thought was lost to him forever. He whispered, confusion washing over him. "What are you doing here?" "Enough," she barked, tone fierce. "You've been playing a dangerous game, Jack. I'm here to clean up your mess." "What?" He could hardly believe it. "You're with them?" She stepped closer, the darkness casting shadows across her face. "No, I'm here to help you, but you have to trust me. The necklace? It's crucial. It holds information they don't want you to have." "But the men outside," Jack started, glancing back at the intruders. They shifted, uncertainty creeping into their eyes as Claire's presence demanded attention. "Don't you see?" she pressed, voice urgent yet steady. "They're coming for you to take everything you've built. And it's already too late for some of us." Jack glanced at the woman beside him, whose fear morphed into fierce resolve. "What do you mean, too late?" He felt the ground shifting beneath him again, instability wrapping around his heart like a vice. Before Claire could respond, the lights dimmed once more, plunging them into a deep shadow. A deafening crash erupted from the window. Glass exploded outward, creating a shower of sharp shards. Jack barely had time to react. He instinctively pushed the woman down as another figure leaped through the opening. A flash of metal gleamed in the gloom. A blaster? Jack's breath hitched. The intruder rolled forward, and suddenly the air filled with the acrid smell of smoke. The urgency heightened. "Intruders!" someone shouted. Men rushed into the penthouse, weapons drawn, the tension electric. Jack's mind whirled. Who were these people? The reality of betrayal washed over him, and for a brief second, he almost buckled under the weight. "Claire! What the hell is happening?" But before she could answer, another gunshot rang out, loud and shocking, echoing through the chaos. Jack felt the room tremble. His heart dropped. Then it happened. The woman beside him lunged, a wild determination fueling her movements. A surge of something primal radiated from her. "Get down!" she screamed, but Claire's eyes locked onto something in the air, something aimed directly at Jack. "No! Jack, look out!" Time froze. Jack turned, instincts kicking in. A flash of light erupted, blinding, but it wasn't just light. A moment later, the world around him exploded into a cacophony of sound, confusion, and chaos. When the clamor subsided, Jack looked around, heart racing. The penthouse felt colder, emptier, heart-wrenching silence enveloping them. He blinked, rubbing his eyes to clear his vision. The woman, she was gone. "What? No!" Jack shouted, in disbelief as he searched the room. But the shadows swallowed her whole, leaving only uncertainty and dread. "Where did she go?" Claire sneered, the malice creeping back into her expression. "Was she ever really here? Jack, the truth you're looking for isn't just in the necklace. It's in what you're blind to." The fragments of that moment shattered like glass in his mind. Jack turned, his heart racing as reality twisted into a dark maze. His life, the empire he meticulously built, felt like it was just threads waiting to break. "Who are you?" he croaked, voice trembling. Suddenly, a chill swept through the air, piercing deep. A figure slipped out from behind the shadows, holding something. "Believe me, Jack, the truth is far worse than you can imagine," that figure declared, revealing a document, a page stained with blood and words that screamed betrayal. Jack's breath hitched as the pieces came together, and in that single moment, the world as he knew it shattered. Trust, loyalty, everything. It was all a lie. Jack stared at the dark figure in front of him, his breath caught in his throat. The document in the figure's hand glimmered ominously, words scrawled across it that made Jack's skin crawl. Betrayal woven into every letter. Who are you, Jack managed to choke out, confusion drowning him again. The figure stepped closer, face emerging from shadows. A familiar smile twisted into smirking recognition. Jack's heart dropped. It can't be! Surprised to see me, Jack? Claire's voice dripped with a false sweetness. Every syllable a knife to his gut. You really thought I was gone, didn't you? Just a ghost. Everyone you trust, they leave you, one by one. The pendulum of his reality swung hard. You've been playing this game all along? Game? Claire laughed, a sharp sound ricocheting in the room. This isn't a game, darling. It's survival, and you've lost. Jack's mind raced, grasping for clarity in the haze of chaos. How did this fit into everything? The necklace, her betrayal, his empire crumbling, his life spiraling as shadows gathered around him. Behind him, he felt the woman's presence, an anchor in the storm. Jack, we cannot trust her, she urged, tone steely. No, Claire shot back, a honeyed venom lacing her words. Then let's see just how much you trust me. With a flick of her wrist, the document unfolded, revealing images, names, files he recognized too well. People he had considered friends, allies. Secrets sprawled violently across the page, proof of collusion, manipulation, betrayal. You thought you were the puppet master, Jack. But look who's been pulling your strings. His heart sank deeper. The names were grim reminders of the paths he'd trodden. Sadness collided with anger. You sold me out? Not sold, freed. Claire's eyes flashed dangeramente. You're better off without those cronies holding you back. Those cronies were my life. Jack shot back, fists clenching. What the hell did you think would happen? Your empire is built on debts all to broken promises. You think these people care about you? They'll feed you to the wolves. Claire snapped, moving closer. And guess where you're left when the smoke clears? Right back where you started. Only this time, no necklace, no power. The room felt suffocating as tension rose. Jack's fingers twitched, a boiling anger simmering just beneath the surface. You're lying. They'll never come for me. Oh, Jack, they already are. Claire leaned in closer, and in that moment, everything shifted. That necklace you've clung to, it's more than a token. It's your crucible. They've been tracking you, what you've collected, what you know. The moment it goes public, your life is over. Your wealth, your influence, crushed. Behind Jack, the woman whispered to him, worry radiating off her. We need to move. Now. But then, even as the clock ticked louder, the air thickened with desperation. Jack hesitated. But why come back now? What do you gain? Soft laughter erupted from Claire, twisted and maddened. Gain? Oh, I'm not here to gain anything. I'm here to watch you fall, Jack. To feel your world collapse into the ashes of your ambition. But first, let's see what sin you'll pay. Before he could react, she tossed the document to the ground. It burst open, revealing a hidden compartment in the floor. This is the truth no one wants you to know. Jack's breath hitched as a sliver of light gleamed from the compartment. It revealed something. An object? What lay inside? The stakes had never been higher, and the tension was a thick fog wrapping around him. But then, without warning, the room trembled. A sound, deep, rumbling, an earthquake of intentions. The ground shook, and Jack staggered, gripping a nearby table to keep from falling. "Jack, we need to go!" the woman cried, panic erupting in her voice. But it was too late. Claire's mocking laughter echoed as it all crumbled. The walls shook, revealing hidden doors. Jack's world flipped upside down, and as the dust settled, fields of new truths bared themselves. In that chaos, Jack closed his eyes for a heartbeat, and when he opened them again, everything had changed. The world outside was holding its breath, and the clock was ticking down to something unknown. What more lay hidden, and who could he really trust in this swirling storm of lies? Jack felt the tremors beneath his feet, the air thick with uncertainty and fear. The figure confronting him, Claire, smirked as if relishing this chaotic moment. But behind her bravado, Jack sensed desperation, a fear he could all too easily relate to. "Enough games, Claire," Jack said, fists clenched tightly at his sides, his heart racing. "What game are you really playing here? Isn't it obvious?" Claire laughed, her voice sharp like glass. "To bring you back to reality, to show you how fragile your empire truly is." She pointed to the document on the ground, which lay open like a wound. "Do you see? This isn't just paper. It's a stake in the ground, a mark of your shortcomings." Jack's breath hitched. The names on that document felt like chains, dragging him into a past riddled with betrayals. The woman beside him? Was she a friend? Or merely a fleeting ally in this mess? But then, amidst the cacophonic chaos, her voice broke through the noise. "Jack, you have to decide now. Are you going to confront your past and stand up for what's right? Or run back into the shadows?" "Shadows?" Claire spat, her eyes narrowing. "Jack, you live in a fantasy. They're already watching, waiting for you to slip. Can't you see? You're a dead man walking." Silence fell abruptly, the tension palpable like a held breath. Jack felt the tremors in his chest. Every heartbeat was a decision, every breath a choice to either stand or retreat. In that fragile moment, the world outside fell silent too. It felt as though they were teetering on a brink. "Fight for yourself, Jack," the woman urged, pushing forward, her eyes fierce, yet filled with a heartbreaking vulnerability. "You are more than what they think you are." Then it hit him, the truth clawing its way to the surface. He realized he had built his empire on fear and greed, blind to the pain he left in his wake. "No," he said, voice breaking. "I'm done hiding." Jack stepped forward, fists clenched around the memories that chained him. He tore the document from the ground, drawing strength from its weight, turning to face Claire. "You say I'm living in shadows, but I refuse to let them take me down. You've been my past, Claire. I won't let you dictate my future." Before he could catch his breath, a loud crash echoed outside, and the sound of sirens cut through the whispering dread. Reinforcements were closing in. Who knew what else could erupt from the chaos? "Jack, listen," Claire hissed, eyes wide. "You still don't understand. Your life is at stake. They'll do anything to see you fall." "I'll fight," Jack shouted back, vulnerability forging a steel resolve within him. "I won't play your game anymore." In that moment of clarity, he chose to step into the uncertainty, embracing the raw truth of who he was becoming. He turned back to the woman, whose expression flickered between hope and dread. This was it, the moment where everything could change or shatter, and as the assembled chaos echoed through his penthouse, Jack finally understood. It wasn't just about him. It was about everyone who suffered the consequences of his choices. It was time to change the game. Just as sirens grew louder, Jack reached for the woman's hand, hearts racing in rhythm. Together, they stepped towards the chaos. They chose to fight. "Together?" she asked, hope flickering in her tone. "Together," Jack affirmed, grounding their resolve. With one last glance at Claire, Jack felt a rush of clarity. No more deception, no more lies. They would face the storm head-on. But as they prepared to take a step out into the unknown, one last thought echoed in the silence. A feeling both fearful and exhilarating. What awaited them beyond those doors? As the room filled with shrill urgency, it became clear. This was just the beginning. And for you, dear reader, let's keep this journey alive. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming exclusive stories. Smash the like button now to feed the algorithm. Let's see those thumbs up. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about the ending. I want to hear from every single one of you. And don't wait even a second longer to share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this thrilling ending. Your support means everything, and only true fans understand how crucial it is to keep this community thriving. Let's make this happen.